Me studying all the charts and indicators in existence. Elon Musk tweets. Well, TGIF members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, happy Friday, and talk about market turmoil. Yeesh, it was supposed to be a joyous Friday, a joyous end of the week. Of course, we're kicking off on this 4th of June, the Miami Bitcoin conference here, which is being actually covered by a lot of different outlets, including The Independent. They're hailing this as the largest cryptocurrency event in history. And likely you're seeing a lot of, other cryptocurrency media outlets, but a lot of legacy media outlets that has been giving this event attention as well. Bitcoin 2021, the mega crypto conference in Miami. And yet, unfortunately, and as we all know by this point, it's all been spoiled by arguably something that Elon Musk tweeted, but I think there's a little bit more to it than just that. I think it was part of, the chart analysis, despite the fact that I'm not the biggest chartist in the world. I think that we were at the peak of an ongoing wedge, and maybe the market was looking for an excuse to crash a little bit. But that's unfortunately what happened. Down 8.5% overall on the day. Bitcoin actually rebounding a little bit right now as I begin to record. It shot up about $1,200, $1,300 in the last 20 or 25 minutes or so. Let's see what happens. Currently at $36,459. But it's still down 5.5% in these last 24 hours, unfortunately. A lot of the rest of the market also down, as you can see, including altcoins, which typically are bleeding a little bit more than Bitcoin on the whole. Let's take a look at what it is Elon Musk tweeted. Ultimately, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's kind of silly, but the interpretations tend toward the negative. So here's what he said specifically about 12 hours ago. Hashtag Bitcoin with the broken heart emoji. So her. I know I said it would be over between us if you quoted another Linkin Park song, but I found someone else, him. So in the end, it didn't even matter. A little bit of a silly meme here. And what's the implication? Is the implication that Elon, I guess, is the woman in this scenario, that he's breaking up with Bitcoin and that he's just kind of treating it lightheartedly? Possibly. I don't know. Everybody's talking about this. Zero Hedge actually discussing how crypto, check out this alliteration, crypto crumbles amid Musk, Miami, and meme stock miasma. Very clever. We'll get into that in just a second. But a lot of outlets are kind of looking at this news as, yeah, that's an indication. That's a signal from Elon Musk that he's cutting ties entirely with Bitcoin, perhaps breaking up with it. So what does that mean? Previously, he said that Tesla would not be selling its Bitcoin. Is that something that they're looking into already? Is that something that they've already done? I still my contention is still that who cares? It doesn't matter what any one individual does. Elon Musk is an interesting guy in the sense that he brought a lot of enthusiasm into this space. And that was a good thing. It was a double-edged sword, of course, because now on the flip side, all this talk about carbon emissions and, environmentalism, which is misguided, I think, nicely. Let's put it that way. It's at very least, it's misguided, and that's the nicest way I can say it. But that's the other flip side of the sword. He's now done a lot of damage to this space, unfortunately. And I just don't think that his opinion, one way or another, warrants this kind of reaction to the upside or to the downside. MarketWatch.com here. Elon Musk breaks up with Bitcoin. Cryptic tweet has some Bitcoin bulls fearing the worst. That's possible. CNBC, Bitcoin falls after Elon Musk tweets breakup meme. So what? I mean, God, we're fickle in this space, aren't we? We are so fickle in this space. We're just looking for excuses to either short or long something. And I don't know. There's too much correlation between the price of cryptocurrency and the thoughts, more specifically the tweets of Elon Musk. Let's go back to that Zero Hedge article here. Crypto crumbles amid Musk, Miami, and meme stock miasma. You can take a look. They're just basically citing the numbers here and the tweets that kind of began this whole cascade of events. Here's what's more interesting in my opinion, and we're going to come to this a little bit later in the video. Actually, no, we're not. Let's talk about it right now. So amid all of this that's happening right now with Elon Musk, and I'm not saying that this was some conspiracy or that, this was kind of planned to upend the positivity that we're seeing out of Miami. But there is a lot of positivity that we're seeing out of Miami. Day one of the Bitcoin conference, it's something that I think the community is very excited about. So It's unfortunate that this is kind of spoiling the fun. But Mayor Suarez, specifically of Miami, recently revealed that he bought Bitcoin. Get this, after the United States passed its $1.9 trillion stimulus bill back in March. So Francisco Suarez had previously talked about how, look, I want to make Miami a hub for fintech, for cryptocurrency, for Bitcoin. He's paying the public servants of the city in Bitcoin. Or I should say they have the option to be paid in Bitcoin. Obviously, it's a voluntary arrangement. And he's taking it one step further now. He's saying he personally owns actually both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And his reasoning is what I've been talking about for months and for years, really, on not this channel, but on the main channel, Altcoin Buzz, is the fact that that $1.9 trillion stimulus, that's going to have an impact. That's going to dilute the USD supply. That's going to add to an inflationary economic environment. Not to mention the $6 trillion that was more recently proposed. So $1.9 trillion was back in March. Now we have a $6 trillion spending bill on the table that actually, as I understand, has now possibly been changed and moved up to $7 trillion. To me, it's no wonder that, people are flocking to Bitcoin. You have prominent individuals, whether or not Elon Musk stays in Bitcoin, I don't know, but you have other prominent kind of tycoons of industry, but also politicians. I think you're going to see more and more examples such as Mayor Suarez. Let's take a look at what he had to say here on Cointelegraph.com. Miami mayor bought Bitcoin after Congress passed $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. Mayor Francis Suarez, I think I said Francisco earlier, Francis Suarez says he owns both Bitcoin and Ether, but has been too busy to buy the recent dip. So you can check out this article. He was featured on CNBC's Squawk Box recently. Take a look at that if you're so inclined. Look, this is kind of, again, sticking on the zero hedge theme for today. This is hypocrisy at every level. Not what Mayor Suarez is doing. I think he's cool. But for people like Elon Musk to come out and, silly tweets aside, whatever, like the crux of his argument is that, hey, we're kind of in this phase, speaking on behalf of Tesla, where we have to look out for the environment, where green, almost activism is part of our mission now. And I think it's absolute phooey. Like, it's absolute baloney. It's total hypocrisy. Tesla, of course, doesn't want to bite the hand that feeds it. Most of Tesla's revenue come by way of carbon credits. So Tesla actually sells carbon credits, environmental credits, to other auto manufacturers that are not yet in the EV, the electric vehicle space. This far and away gives them more profits and more money than anything that they're doing in terms of auto manufacturing, which I thought was very interesting. So they have, let's call it, a reputation to uphold. But even at that, even if that were the case, it's still not accurate, because Bitcoin, as we all know, is powered by 75% renewables, and actually that number is growing. There's no reason it can't be 80%. There's no reason it can't be 85, 90, 95, 99%. But even if Bitcoin were 100% dirty energy, which it's not, but for the sake of argument, let's play devil's advocate. Even if Bitcoin were 100% powered by like Chinese coal plants, as the media likes to suggest, who cares? Who cares? It's not the biggest problem in the world. As per this tweet here, dear central bankers, virtue signaling on climate change. How many coal, specifically power plants, and oil drillers are kept alive thanks to your ultra low rates policies, which allow them to issue debt on a whim and stay operational indefinitely? Maybe Neil Kashkari can answer. Neil Kashkari, I believe, is president of, the Minneapolis Federal Reserve. It's a good question, and I think kind of just the right level of snark, courtesy of Zero Hedge. It's not just that, central bankers, okay, you can answer that question, but what is, Elon, like what is the the environmental, what is the green, the carbon footprint, the environmental impact of the petrodollar, right? People like to bash Bitcoin for the environmentalism angle. What's the environmentalism angle when it comes to the petrodollar? Where if you don't kneel and kiss the king's ring finger, you have multi-generational warfare and decades of resource extraction as a result. What's the carbon footprint there? Nobody's answered that question clearly when it comes to the critics that like to argue against the progress that cryptocurrency is making. You guys can check this out here. We're on CNN.com. Everyone is talking about crypto. both positively and negatively. I think that's a good thing overall. The discussion is something that's going to continue, but it's now broadening in scope, right? Everybody is discussing it, from the proponents over in Miami right now, currently, to the detractors such as Elon Musk and those misguided environmentalists. You also have the fact that, again, I don't think anything is going to change. And Mayor Suarez has the right idea. $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, and now a $6 trillion, possibly $7 trillion spending bill. What's going to change? We know that all of this is kind of enticing the libertarians, right? Those that see the writing on the wall, and those that feel like, yeah, something heavy is coming in terms of inflation, isn't it? And maybe it's not going to be next week or next month or even next year. But I go back to it almost like in a binary sense. You have to make the decision. What's going to be more valuable in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years, in 50 years? Would you rather be holding a Bitcoin that you purchased today in 50 years, or would you rather be holding, let's say, some US dollars that you take out, that you withdraw from your bank account? Which of those is going to be worth more in 50 years? Not financial advice, but you know my point of view. 200%, 280% rather, increase in lumber prices indicate market manipulation. Government is the ultimate market manipulator. This is a little bit more tinged as far as, being an opinionated article, but you can check this out. We'll link to it in the description below. I forgot to mention, guys, that we're giving away $50 worth of Ether at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Just firstly, a couple of quick updates courtesy of Chainlink. We also have a Polygon update that we want to get to, so a couple of our favorite projects, of course. Not financial advice, but both of these are down based on all this news that we've been discussing. So maybe you want to buy the dip. I'll leave that up to you. Not financial advice. At Chainlink here on Twitter. Blockchain-based RPG role-playing game Blades Crypto is using Chainlink verifiable random function on Binance Smart Chain BSC to generate all entropy-based gameplay scenarios, such as determining the content of NFT, non-fungible token-based loot drops, the rarity of weapons during chance-based upgrades, and user matchmaking results. Very cool. It seems like everybody, especially this week, pretty much every day we've been talking about some implementation, some collaboration, some new partner that's using the Chainlink VRF function. So very cool indeed. Polygon is in the news here. They're excited to announce their collaboration with Katana Trade. Now, DEXs, that's decentralized exchanges built on Polygon, will benefit from Katana's cutting edge DeFi tools. Likewise, Katana's users can leverage Polygon's vibrant decentralized finance DeFi ecosystem. Kudos to both parties involved. You can learn more at the link that's included there. So just before we get to that giveaway, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, something interesting is happening here. It doesn't take me all that long to record these videos, maybe 20 or 30 minutes, but just in that span of time, you can see kind of the upswing that we're starting to see. Bitcoin now just below $37,000, so kind of rising sharply, suggesting that, I don't know, but whether collectively or individually at the level of some big whales, people are buying up this dip. People didn't want to seem to tolerate a Bitcoin at or below $35,000. Market is still down, but things are starting to rebound, hopefully. Is that going to last? I'm not sure. But it just goes to show a lot of this kind of FUD that we see is so ephemeral. Something like this does not deserve to have the impact that it has had. People are skittish in this space. People are unfortunately, jaded in certain instances. And the new people that are entering, the short-term holders, maybe that don't necessarily have a familiarity with the volatility that we're seeing, they're scared off very easily. So again, look, not financial advice, but I think this is going to be a totally kind of ephemeral moment. It's going to pass. We're not even going to be able to discuss it or remember it clearly in a week, in a month, and going forward in the future. So let's see what happens. Hopefully this momentum, this bit of an upswing here continues. But with all that being said, let's get to today's giveaway here. We're taking a look at yesterday's video, in which I asked you guys, would you rather be a millionaire or a Bitcoiner? The idea being kind of relating to this point, that's an ongoing theme of a lot of these videos, this inflation that we keep seeing. I'm told that, like, if you're a millionaire today, it's the equivalent of, having several, like $5 or $6 million in the 1970s. So we're talking 1 million USD. Excuse me, let's reverse that. That's the other way. That's the other way around entirely. So if you're a millionaire, if you were a millionaire, you had $1 million in the 1970s, we're talking USD, it's the equivalent today, you'd have about $5 or $6 million. So to my point, like a millionaire used to mean something. It used to mean that it's a rather exclusive socioeconomic status. Don't get me wrong, it still is. If you have $1 million, especially in liquid funds, liquid assets, then you're doing very well. No doubt about that. I'm not downplaying that. However, the point being that, think about that, $1 million in the 1970s now worth $5 or $6 million when you factor in inflation. That's pretty crazy. That means if you have $1 million today, kind of doing the inverse, that's only the equivalent of maybe like $200,000 back in the 1970s. This is all kind of off the top of my head, so I'm not 100% on the numbers or the exact year in that decade of the 1970s, but you can do the math and kind of look at that if you're so inclined. The point being is that it's a one-way street. It's a one-way trend. We're only ever going to see a more and more diluted USD. And I'm not picking on the USD, but it's a fiat currency. That's all it can really hope to achieve. Its destiny is to be devalued, is to depreciate with time. So I'm interested in your opinions, guys. Millionaire or Bitcoiner? No surprise, Bitcoiner is my answer / Ethereum, I guess. I can be both. Let's take yesterday's video. Let's take the URL and find the winner based on these comments here. A lot of comments from yesterday's video. Check this out, 647 comments, 76 likes. Not nearly enough likes, guys, but you are doing well on the comments. As a reminder, to be eligible to win $50 worth of Ethereum, number one, you gotta like the video. So like the video you're watching right now. Number two, you gotta comment. I forgot for a second. Number two, you gotta comment with the letters ETH or the word Ethereum. And number three, you got to subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News, this channel. So like, comment, and subscribe. Without any further ado, let's go and enter the URL into the raffle-random common picker. And basically, as long as you haven't already won the prize and you meet those criteria, then you win. So the winner, potentially of $50 worth of ETH, is here, Philip Burns. Hey, excellent video. ETH. Thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. You do indeed qualify. You've won $50 worth of Ethereum. Philip, please go ahead and respond to this comment on screen with the same profile. So with the same Philip Burns profile, respond to your own comment with the Ethereum address to which you would like us to send you your prize money. You've won $50 worth of Ether. Congratulations, dude. It's just that easy. You may as well throw your hat into the race. It's a very simple competition to enter, and we're going to be doing it for about another week. But that's it for today, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels. Keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io, our beautiful website. None of this is financial advice, as you know, but I do wish you luck in the event that you choose to invest. Stay safe. That's first and foremost. TGIF. Have a great end to your week. Have a great start to your weekend. As always, we hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.